Hello, I'm Jane and welcome to my glass studio. So I've been invited to come do a glass bubble blowing workshop by Angel Share Glass. They have 2 scientific glass blowers as guest hosts for this workshop for 1 day. And they've invited me to come do it for free. Basically, these workshops are completely new. They want to offer it to the public, but they want to kind of like a guinea pig test run before they put them live. So I'm the guinea pig. And I get to stay at the Sterling Highland Hotel, which used to be an old academy. And it kind of looks a little Hogwartsy, like from the photos that I've seen. So hopefully by the end of this workshop, I'll be able to blow a sphere. So I hopped in the car and started driving for the hotel. And this was a weekend workshop, so my family came with me as well. When we got there was this giant clock tower and this beautiful courtyard. Then we headed through to reception, picked up our key, and then headed to our room. And this place is massive. It has like over 300 rooms. So we made our way to the 3rd floor and eventually found our room. It was a really cute, cozy room just overlooking Stirling. It had a lovely view and a cute little bathroom. I knew that an all-day intensive glassblowing workshop was going to be really exhausting, so I was going to need a big breakfast. So we walked through the old academy to look for the restaurant. And past all the old classroom like Latin and geography, there was art and history. Until eventually we found the restaurant, which was an all-you-can-eat style buffet. They had fresh pastries and jams and breads, and lots of cereal and lots of fresh fruit and yogurt, as well as a hot breakfast as well. I went straight to the coffee machine though, got my coffee and needed an orange juice too. And then I helped myself to a hot breakfast. I also got a croissant as well with some cheese and ham and a banana. This was actually to take with me in my bag for lunch. And after my hot breakfast, I had second breakfast of fruit and yogurt. And then I had breakfast pudding and a cup of tea. It was then immediately time to head off and make my way there. It started at 10 o'clock, but I wanted to get there at 9:30 so I could meet everybody and have a little bit of a blather before we started. So I got to Angel Share Glass at 22. I then did the meet and greet, and then we got started in the studio. So first was basic bauble blowing with Ayako Tani. She is a scientific glass blower based in Glasgow. She is known for her beautiful glass ships and bottles. Her work is featured in the Scottish Maritime Museum. And just like me, she's self-taught and started off making glass beads. She showed us 2 methods on how to blow a perfect sphere and gave a lot of crucial detail as to like what kind of flame you need, how to not get cold spots, and how to get that lovely even thickness of glass, which I have recently been really struggling to do. It was so beneficial for me at this stage to be able to look over somebody's shoulder and to be able to see exactly how they were doing it and to be able to copy their techniques. Scientific glass blowing is obviously extremely technical, so it was really important for me to learn these fundamental techniques properly. This way I know I'm not going to develop any bad habits, and anything I'm doing wrong, I can nip in the bud early. So this workshop really did come at just the right time. She also taught us how to make holes in vessels, which is something I'm really interested in. I'd like to be able to put whiskey and gin and stuff into little baubles with a little cork. So I was really grateful that she added this little bonus bit of teaching. And after her demonstration, it was then my turn to have a go. So I've tried to make a glass sphere about 8 times at my studio at home and never been able to do it properly. And after this one workshop, I could do it. I held it together on camera, but honestly, I nearly cried. So next was how to make a textured bauble with McLeod, which was basically a step up from the last workshop we just did. So Robert has been a scientific glass blower for over 48 years. He is also the director of the British Society of Scientific Glass Blowers. He's recently retired and now putting in his efforts into education. So I was extremely honoured to be being taught by these 2 amazing artists today. It was really interesting to see how these 2 artists work so differently whilst making something very similar. It was really interesting to see that while there are really key practices that have to be done, there's also a lot of artistic license to it. Every glassblower has a slightly different way of doing things. So it was really nice to see how these 2 artists were making the same thing but in very different ways back to back. So after the demonstration, I then got a chance to do it myself. And I was actually really nervous. I'd only just finished making my first perfect sphere and I was really worried I wasn't going to be able to do it again. And it was a really intensive day. I didn't want to lose concentration. So even though I was getting pretty tired by this point, I obviously kept going. I was not going to waste a single second of their tutorage. They were right there with me and I needed to absorb as much as I possibly could. And what I really loved about Robert was how hands-on he was. He was really patient and really good at giving me lots of space. But then when I needed hand correcting and things like that, he was able to demonstrate and show me how. And to have that feedback in real time was incredible. And at no point did I feel rushed in any way. And it was really nice because if I had a question, he explained it in a way that really made sense to me. There's still a lot of terminologies and stuff within glass blowing that I don't actually know yet. So not only was I learning the physical techniques of it, but I was also learning this entire glossary that I was completely unfamiliar with. So just learning these key terms and phrases and stuff was really good. I kind of now know how to speak the glassblowing language better. We were all super tired by the end, but we swapped details and I really can't wait to see them in future. So I'm now back in my studio and they gave me all my bits to bring home with me. So I'll show you what I made. So this is my textured bauble, which it's not perfect, but you can see like what I was trying to make. And look at that loop. And he actually let me keep his demo version as well. So now I've got like a reference to work from. And this is the one I'm really, really proud of. And I actually nearly cried when I made it. Look. I made that. This is like my first perfect sphere. I went from not being able to blow a bauble to being able to in like 2 hours. Before mine were coming out like this, and now they're coming out like this. Like the improvement. And now this one is actually an exercise that they told me to take home with me to practice. And this is super simple. It's literally a tube and a rod of glass. And this is literally for practicing my hand movement. So it goes in like this. I need to marker these off. One hand goes like this, the other on the top. And you literally just rotate, but you have to keep them even so that you're rotating them at the same speed. So I'm just gonna sit there in front of the telly and kind of like do this until it becomes like second nature and I can get it completely straight without really trying. They also gave me this, which is actually the glass tube and rod I used to make my bauble. So they sent me home with the material that I need in order to keep practicing. So this is everything I need to make my glass sphere here in my studio. So hopefully I'll get my bauble green tick.